60 WNBA and BeaverCountyRadio.com.
Local news, local topics, local conversation. You're listening to AM Beaver County on 95.7 FM, 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and 1460 WMBA. Presented by St. Barnabas and streaming live at BeaverCountyRadio.com.
It's 8:35 on this Monday morning, November 7, 2022. Outside it is 53 degrees and sunny. And on your dial to Beaver County Radio. And now joining me in studio is Ambridge Borough Manager Mary Leone. And Mario, good morning to you.
Good morning, Matt.
Thank you for coming in today. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on in Ambridge, because obviously, we just went through the Halloween season, and of course Christmas is on the way, and Thanksgiving somewhere in between there. How did Halloween go in Ambridge?
Went well. Yeah, no problem. We actually had the little football parents had a trick or trunk in our municipal parking lot, but overall Halloween it was good.
No muss, no fuss, no controversy.
No.
That's
Not that I'm
good.
aware of, anyway.
Were there any other events surrounding there? Were there any businesses that held Halloween themed parties or events that took place?
Probably the breweries had their events, but nothing specific.
So how have things gone as far as because I know sometimes people talk about things going on in the town, whether it's crime watch or street cleaning or whatever the case may be. How's all that gone?
Great. There's a lot of excitement in the borough right now. We have a new streetscape coming from 8th to 12th Street, looking to have a public comment period in December, and then followed with another one in January, and we're excited about getting that project underway. Crime has really seems to have gone down. Police department, Chief DeLuca has really transformed that department and the attitude and everything. We recently put 2 officers in the school, SROs. That program's going extremely well, and we think we're making our schools safer for the children and parents likewise.
Very nice, very nice. And I know that there's been a lot of talk in regards to how much it would cost to do that and whether it's worth it. And I guess for the case of you guys, you said, listen, there is no price on school safety. We need to put the officers in there and make sure our kids are safe.
Absolutely, and also the school at the high school anyway put in a one of those X-ray screening devices as well, checking backpacks as well. So I certainly applaud the Ambridge School District and superintendent for their commitment for the children's safety as well.
That is
they're focused on it.
Yes, that is very good to hear. And like you mentioned too, the streets with Chief DeLuca in charge have been a lot more safe and lessened of crime over the course of the last. How long has DeLuca been there now?
He's probably about a little over 2.5.
2.5 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. We also reinstituted the K9 dog program as well, and that's going extremely well. The department had a couple fundraisers. So we really did that at a very minimal cost to the taxpayers.
Very cool. Very cool. I know. It seems to be a running trend too, because I know the city of Beaver Falls just got a K9 of their own. Ambridge is getting one, so it feels like the whole K9 unit is coming back to Beaver County piece by piece.
Yeah, and I'd be remiss if I didn't give an accolade to Center Township and the police department. We actually purchased their used K9 vehicle at a very great price. They were buying a new one for theirs, and it helped really bring our program to full circle.
That does help. That does.
So
help
when you
quite.
see local municipalities, helping each other out, and especially when you're talking about police department, our K9 dog will be an asset to all the surrounding municipalities as well. But
Yes.
kudos to Center Township.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I know one thing we usually talk about when we come up up on here is, all the businesses that are taking place, roosting in Ambridge, that, the growth of business over the course of the last several months and years. Is that continuing?
Yeah, the momentum's still strong. It's probably even increasing. The resurgence of that the breweries have brought to the town is remarkable. We have the Mexican food market. We have another South American market planned on the corner of 5th Street in the former PNC Bank. And I'm getting calls, every day with various, whether it's a hair salon, barber, tattoo parlor, other restaurants and bakeries. I think we've got 2 new bakeries actually coming into town as well, cafe type. And so, a lot of momentum.
And that's good. And most of this is taking place on Main Street. Most
of it's on Merchant. We did have a couple new businesses open on Dust Avenue, Georgia's Mediterranean Market. Open, awesome place. There was a tailor shop and the new Dollar General on Dust Avenue as well. So there's activity on kind of both of those streets.
Right. The only reason I ask is that I know, like, I'll walk through the halls of this place and I'll see some of the old pictures from like nationality days back in the 80s and how the businesses and the people were just, wall to wall, street to street. And it feels like that's kind of coming back where there's really not going to be many empty buildings.
Yeah, it's coming back. We had the churches Festival of Churches this September, and it was probably the best event that we had, and it was coupled with the Ambridge event as well. There's a lot of talk of bringing Nationality Days in itself back as a celebration. So we'll see how that develops. But the interesting part is, the Nationality Days was primarily Western Europe in culture, where now it's really taken another flair to the South American and also the further Southeast Mediterranean as well. So.
Yeah, and then there's plenty of different cultures that make up Nationality Days, and that's to celebrate all different types of heritages and cultures. And most of the festivals that take place right now, whether it be the Festival of Churches or others, they pretty much do the same thing. They sort of allow all these different cultures to gather and say, listen, try our food, let's have a conversation, and let's be kind to each other.
Yes.
So we're talking with Mario Leone. He is the borough manager of Ambridge. And when we come back, we're going to take a look into the future. By future, I mean Christmas. That's coming up after the break here on AM Beaver County.
When accidents and injuries happen, you need the experience and insight of the legal team at Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George. At Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, they have the resources available to see your case from start to finish. Attorney Larry Kelly.
At Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, we're big boys. We assume all the costs, and we don't expect you to pay a penny. Now, what happens is, if you go to trial and the verdict is not favorable, you don't owe us any fees, nor do you reimburse us the cost. Now, if we're successful, then you'll pay a fee, and you'll reimburse us the cost from the recovery. That's the way we do it at LGKG, and that's the way we've done it forever.
For your initial consultation, call the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George at 724-658-8535 or online at lgkg.com. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, keeping promises for over 80 years.
Hello, municipality leaders. Do you have a public gravel road or low-traffic road under your care that needs repair? Does runoff from this road end up in a nearby stream or other waterway? Do you need help covering the cost of repairs for such a road? Contact the Beaver County Conservation District to learn about their dirt and gravel roads and low-volume roads programs. They have grant money available for projects which will make such roads more environmentally sensitive and decrease your maintenance cost. Applications for 2023 projects are due by December 31st, 2022. Schedule a pre-application meeting with one of their staff members today. Call the Beaver County Conservation District 724-378-1701. That's 724-378-1701.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
It's 8:45 on this November 7th, 2022. Outside it is 52 degrees and sunny, and on your dial it's Beaver County Radio. We're talking with Mario Leone. He is the Ambridge Borough manager, and we're going to get to some big numbers coming up in just a little bit. But I did mention before the break, we're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming Christmas season. Of course, Christmas on Merchant has come back once again this year. And I do have to say, I think that Christmas on Merchant has been one of the only events that has continued to happen despite what happened with the pandemic. Because even during the pandemic, there was the procession, and it's been happening for a couple of years since then. Is it going to go back to the regular Christmas on Merchant this year?
Yeah, the plans are to go back to the original, and tentative date is December 9th. And, as you said, during the COVID, we went to what we called an inverted parade where, it was a procession of, people in cars and a bunch of blow-ups along Merchant Street, and you drove by it. It was kind of a reference it as an Ogleby on Merchant Street, kind of a look. Now those inflatables will still be erected along Merchant Street as well, but we're going back to a regular parade with floats and the band and all that, and also some events coupled with it as well. An ice sculpture will be in PJ Call Park, and we're looking at 2 sessions where they'll do two carvings, which is kind of exciting.
That is exciting. And it's just exciting to know that, despite the persistence that it is going to be coming back to where it was before, which is always good news to hear because, anytime you can sort of get back to that normalcy that, has sort of been eluded for a couple years, it's always feeling great. Now, what is it going to be a day event or is it going to be a night event?
The parade will be at 6:00. I believe the first ice sculpture will be from 5 to 6, and then the parade, and then the second ice sculpture will commence at 7:00.
So it will be in the evening once again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
right. And Beaver County Radio will also be there as well.
Yes.
So it'll be a very, very nice opportunity once again to come out and celebrate Christmas on Merchant, as we've done many, many times, despite any circumstances. Now, over the break, you were telling me about some things, because I know, obviously, Ambridge has done a lot of great things on its own, built a lot of stuff from scratch, and, the leadership has come in and put itself together. But, of course, you need a little bit of help sometimes. And you told me about a couple of grants that have come in, and these are some huge grants. Tell me about them.
Yeah, big numbers. And we just recently, it was last Wednesday or 2 Wednesdays ago, received word of a $4.5 million RCAP. And the purpose of these funds is for a sports complex and community center. And, this was really pushed by Mayor Duke McCoy wanting a senior center in Ambridge because of the percentage of seniors in the borough. And we pushed that initiative. We found some developers and submitted the application, and can't thank Representative Matsey enough for how hard he fought for this. Obviously, Representative Matsey, an Ambridge raised individual. He was mayor. He understands the community and the value that this facility will bring, not only to the Ambridge Borough, but the region, because we'll attract youth and even adults from all over Beaver County and the region at this facility. And, he was instrumental in securing $4 million through the Democratic caucus for the RCAP. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Senator Vogel that secured an additional $500,000 through the Republican caucus. But it gets more exciting than this because previously there's a nonprofit called Crop and Kettle that received a $3 million RCAP for a facility in Ambridge as well. And there's initial conversations on how we can leverage these two RCAPs together and have these complexes be in close proximity. So just to give the listeners an understanding of how impactful this is, you've got the 4.5 for the Ambridge project, the $3 million for the Crop and Kettle, which is $7.5 million. It has to be leveraged by another 50% of that amount. So you're talking about a $15 million investment in Ambridge, and to me, this is going to be truly transformational to the borough of Ambridge.
It sounds incredibly transformational. I mean, this is going to be something that, like you said, is going to attract the youth and adults to the recreational, the sports complex. Now, is this going to be a indoor facility or an outdoor facility? It's
going to be both. The first phase is going to be focused on indoor with basketball, volleyball, some indoor soccer and baseball. And then there's, complexions of yoga, martial arts, and some of those kinds of studio things. Probably wrestling will be added to it as well at some point. And then these grand plans of outdoor complex as well. They're in the process of securing the former BMAC development project that was proposed in Ambridge. And, they're talking, again, a lot of dreaming here as well, but the outdoor fields could be geothermal where, they're heated, so you could even play on them in the outdoor. Be kind of the temperature will radiate off the field as well. So pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome. That's pretty high tech, and that is, again, going to be something that attracts everybody if they, if it does become that way. But even for what it is already, it looks to be very, very special.
Yeah, I think the goal is to have about 100,000 square foot under roof with indoor sports. So it's massive.
That is very massive. Where's going to be the location of it?
The location is the former Centuria Steel building, kind of by the 911 center.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there was 8 acres of there's 2 parcels that BMAC property owns, and one's about an 8-acre tract, and another one's a 4-acre tract. So they have the 8-acre tract that's under agreement, and I envision that it'll grow into the other acreage as well.
Wow, that is very, very cool. Very cool. Is there any other major plans for Ambridge coming up in the near future that you guys are working on?
Well, they just tore down the Anthony Wayne School, which I think we've talked about on previous broadcasts. But the senior complex is going to start going under construction, and I believe that was a $9 million investment there, and that's right next to the $1 million Dollar General that's open and operating now, and I think it's a beautiful facility. When you look at a lot of the other Dollar Generals in the area, the architectural amenities of this one it's a pretty looking building. And then we recently, council just approved the development for Sunbelt Rentals. That's on the former Suckup property, and I would say that their development's got to be over $1 million complex as well, and they will be renting generators and chillers for commercial and industrial use.
Okay, all right. That's so a lot of things are moving forward for Ambridge, and I think
there's an application for another senior center at the corner of New Economy and 14th, and my understanding shortly here, November 15th or early December, the Pennsylvania Housing Authority will be making the decision on which candidates got selected. So our fingers are crossed that they receive funding, and then we'll have our second senior housing facility constructed. And I believe this one was like a 48-unit proposed complex.
I love the fact that, again, that the attitude right now for Ambridge is just, let's go for it. Let's keep building. Let's keep expanding. There's not enough that we can't do to, give options to our citizens and for those who want to stop by and visit. We want to give them all the possibilities that they can have.
Yeah, and then about a month ago, we got final approval from the DCNR, Department of Community and Natural Resources, for the Henning Park, and that'll be about $1 million splash pad, swing set, pavilion complex on Henning Street, which is as soon as you come off of Route 65 on the Merchant. It's kind of right there, which would be directly across from the proposed sports and senior complex.
Wow. So
yeah, there's a lot happening. Yeah,
yeah,
exciting times.
Yeah, the just driving by Ambridge now is not going to be the same anymore as it once was, and being part of it is already turning into such a great whirlwind of changes over the course of the last few months and what's coming up in the next few years as well. So, Mary Leone, I thank you so much for joining me this morning to talk about that. And again, best of luck to you and to all the leadership in Ambridge to keep pushing all these things forward.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's 8:56 on a Monday morning here on AM Beaver County. Teleform is right around the corner.
All these campaign ads are trying to scare us. You know what really scares